Welcome back to my channel. I think this is gonna be like my first official video with a new camera. Ignore my backdrop. We are still working on that. So I know everybody's been super excited about the Jaclyn Hill vault that is now not coming out, which I am happy but like mad at the same time. So anyway, so I'm gonna do a tutorial using this. I always want to use like a bunch of different palettes, like all these different colors, but it's like, no, let's get one look out of one palette. There's a million colors in this. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to. But I've also been into doing like warms and cool tone looks like all in one. I think that's been really pretty. The cool tones just really pop. Or vice versa, however you do it, it just really makes it like pop extra. So I really like that. But how do you guys feel about the vault not coming out? When I was watching people's tutorials on it, like their first impressions, whatever, like most of the people that got in PR were able to go to Vegas and pick it up that Saturday. And I kept seeing different people having different problems with different palettes and different shades. And I even thought to myself, because I know a little bit about you know, how products are made and stuff like that, and I remember thinking like, I wonder if it's something to do with production, because this is just so inconsistent. And it's not like you think these people are lying, because you can literally see the problems that they're having. And I literally thought that to myself. So when I saw that, I actually felt relieved, because we all know this palette is so good, and I don't have trouble like that with my other Morphe palettes. On my 35B, I do have a little bit of issues with the green shades, but that was before this formula. We all know that. So anyways, so I'm happy that they are gonna fix it, and sad that I won't get my hands on it until later. So anyways, let's just first I'm gonna be taking my ColourPop No Filter in shade Fair 06 and my Morphe 224 to prime my eyelids. This is really light shade. I actually got it way too light, and since it's only $6, instead of trying to return it, I was like, let me just use this as my eyelid primer. Normally I use MAC's Soft Ochre Paint Pot. It kind of depends on the look I'm doing. If I want to do like a really colorful pigmented look, then I use concealer. And then if I'm just doing kind of like a softer neutral eye look, then I will use my paint pot. But either way, I don't set them. I never have. First, we're going to be taking this creamsicle color, and I'm going to be using a Morphe R39 brush. There we go. And I'm going to do like a dome shape. Well, first, actually, I'm going to take the first brush I used for my concealer and pat out those creases, because remember, we didn't set it. So I want to make sure there's no creases. Now, like I said, we're going for maximum pigmentation, as you can see. So we're taking creamsicle, and we're just going to do a dome shape. And I'm going to be going directly above my natural crease. I do want this to be sort of like a more clean look instead of like blown out. But that's one thing that I'm really working on, is getting the more clean looks. So it might not be as clean as I want it, but that is what I am going for. And I'm gonna try to do like pretty in-depth, because I notice a lot of people just kind of post what shades they're using and say blend it out and stuff like that, but really don't go into detail. And the detail is really the important part of how you learn to do it. So now that I've got that packed on there pretty good, I'm going to take the same brush. Let me add a little bit more right there. So as you can see, I'm just kind of pushing it in so I don't lose much pigment. Sorry, I have trouble staying in camera. And then I'm going to very, very lightly, because like I said, I want this to be clean and not super blown out, but I still want my edges to be blended. So I'm using the same brush right now, and I'm just very, very lightly doing circular motions around the outside. And then I'm going to take my Sigma E25 brush. Gosh, can I stay in camera? And I am going to do the same circular motions as well as windshield wiper motions around the edge. And I am going to lose some pigmentation with this. So we're gonna go back in and add it in. And I'm gonna show you that because I feel like that's what a lot of people leave out. And it's important. So can you see the difference? Now I'm gonna go back into Creamsicle with the same brush I used the first time to pack it on there. I'm not worried about how low I go because it's gonna tie into the next color I use, and I also can clean it up when I cut the crease. I'm gonna go into this Hunt's shade and add this directly into my crease. My daughter's home now. They just got back from a walk, so I apologize if you hear them. And again, I'm just going to be patting this into my crease, and I'm using a Morphe M507, which is just a very small tapered blending brush. So I'm literally patting this directly into my crease, and I have a feeling this side is already going to be cleaner than this side. Whatever. Like I said, practice makes perfect, and this is what we're doing. We're practicing. And it's crazy how much progress I've made just in the last like 4 months. So I can't wait to see where I will be in another 4 months. All right, so we've got that patted in. And I'm going to gently windshield wiper the edges. And now I'm going to go in with the same R39 brush, add back in that Creamsicle right on my brush. And just go above that to blend that into each other, but not lose that Creamsicle shade. And remember, the first place you touch down your brush with that color is where it's going to show up the most. So don't keep starting in the same spot, or you're going to get the most color in that spot and nowhere else. Yeah, see, I'm so much more happy with this side than this side. Now I'm going to dip into this Jack's shade, which is my favorite shade. It's right under the Hunt's shade. It's just like a dark burgundy shade. And we're going to put that directly in our crease. I'm going to use, it's similar to the last brush I used, but even like slimmer, like not as puffy, I guess. And I'm going to go just directly into my crease just to add a little bit more dimension. I'm literally going like around my eyeball, like I can feel it in that dome shape. And once I get enough pigment, I can start blending it, but we're not going to need to blend it much because those colors were similar. And since we added them lower and lower each time, that automatically helps add that gradient effect that we want, so we don't have to do as much blending. And that's part of the reason why you add I'm going to cut the crease using the same ColourPop concealer. I'm going to pretty much do all the way, but just leave the very like inner and outer corners blank. And if you guys don't know this trick, it's amazing, and I hope it works for every eye. I'm not sure if it does, but I'm pretty sure it does. So anyways, so I'm just going to take the concealer and line it where I want it. I also have some on the back of my hand for my brush. And then I'm going to look up and all the way around like so. Do you see that? And that's going to make it so that it doesn't crease as well. Alright, so now I am going to load up my brush and drag that down and clean that line up, make it extra sharp. And I'm really going to do the same thing and like pat it, I don't really want that red to come through and, oops, sorry, turn the concealer that color. especially since I'm going to be putting a bright blue there. Which honestly, it's so pigmented, it would probably show up even without this. Now I'm going to go back in with Jack's, the darkest red shade we used on the very inner part of our crease. And I'm going to add this to the outer and inner corners. We're going to do like a halo. Thought about doing a spotlight, but I don't really, I'm not good at adding that line to get it really sharp yet. So we'll just stick with the halo for now. And I am just dabbing that on there. That's it. And I'm going to start to do similar to that halo shape and bring it in towards the center of my eye at the bottom. Blend that a little bit. And now I'm going to take my finger and go into Pool Party. That's what I thought. It's that shimmery turquoise color. I know you guys know the one. And start applying that. Alright, and now I'm going to take my little Morphe M213. It's actually like one of those little smudger brushes. Can you see it? There we go. And wet it a little bit and clean up the top. I need a real small, precise brush for this. I'm going to be taking, what is it? Soda Pop and Enchanted. Yes. And doing the gradient effect into the Pool Party shade. And I'm going to use a Morphe M321. It's just like a bullet crease brush for that. First, I'm going to go into the Soda Pop, which is the dark brownish red shade, and blend that into the deep burgundy shade we already have. These shades are very similar, and that's why I'm doing it. This one's reddish and the other one's greenish, so they kind of go with the colors already, just to help the blend, just to make it easier on us. And I'm just dabbing it in and then kind of swiping it into each other. You can see what I'm doing. And now using the same brush, I'm going to go into the Enchanted, the really deep green shade. And just really get that blended with the Pool Party. And now I'm going to go back into Pool Party with my M213 and kind of lightly overlap. And you basically just go back and forth with the colors until the blend is nice. I feel like it's a lot easier to blend with the shimmer. I'm gonna go in with the Jacks and take a Beige Cosmetics V9. Any little teensy tiny brush will work for this. And I'm just putting a little bit on the tip, and what I'm doing is Just making sure that the jacks didn't get lost up here where I cut my crease. And now I'm taking Obsessed, this like off-white shimmery shade, on a ruby brush. It doesn't have a name. It came in my Ipsy bag a couple months ago, I think. It's just a really like small, fluffy, tapered blending brush. That's it. Alright, so I finished the rest of my makeup very quickly because I'm going to bed after this and taking it off. So I'm not even going to do lashes because why? Alright, so to finish this look, I've got 3 steps. I'm going to take my E25 just because it's a little bit smaller and we're doing my under eye. And I'm going to take Creamsicle first. And oops, maybe this side, because that's where you guys can see. And just continue with the dome shape. You definitely want to make that even. So we're kind of starting where that ends. Oh, and don't get your foundation in your eye makeup when you apply it, because I did. And I'm just going all the way under my eye. And then I'm going to take my small little pointer brush that I use for the top of my cut crease, and I'm just going back into jacks. And I'm going to do my lash line. And then I'm going to take the Sigma E47 brush to blend it out. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be adding Urban Decay's Glide On Eye Pencil 24/7 in Alkaline. It's this just deep burgundy color. Sorry. And it's just really going to bring the look together. And I did tight line with the black on my lash line. I always do that on my top lash line. Lastly, we gotta do highlighter because I can't do my makeup and not do a highlighter. I'm using Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Foil. This one is Sandcastle and Mint Mojito. I'm gonna use both of them, I think. So I'm using a Morphe M510 brush and I'm gonna apply Sandcastle on my cheekbones. And I like to lightly bring it over here and up my forehead there where the light hits. You guys see that? I don't even have good lighting and you guys can see that. And that was just one time. I barely dipped my brush in. Gonna go down my nose. I like to take my finger for the tip of my nose, a Cupid's bow. My chin a little bit, depending on if I have acne there or not, because I don't like to draw attention to it. Alright, so now I'm going to take a smaller brush, well, a little bit smaller of a highlighting brush. Actually, I'm going to take way smaller. I'm going to take my Morphe E27 and I'm going to dip into the blue. Just on my cheekbones, right in the center of the highlight. See if you guys can see it on this side. just like doing multiple colors.
You're not home.